My name is Daniella, and I have decided that I'm going to walk 3,000 kilometers across New Zealand with 15 kgs on my back, and I'm going to do it completely alone. Now, just for a little bit of context here, the last time I backpacked was over a decade ago, and this is why you always put up a tent before you plan on using it, because I can't figure this out, so we're going to have to Google this. I've never stolen a backpack in my entire life. Both very, very excited, and I made a really, really dumb mistake. I don't have any gear. Got 12 kilometers in one direction to the top of a peak. I'm gonna stay up there and then hike back tomorrow. And I actually don't have a job to buy the gear at the moment. If I'm gonna be able to afford this, I actually need to be able to go back to work because this is a lot of money. So in this episode, I'm actually going to plan out how I'm gonna make all of this work, and I'm gonna go on my very first overnight camping trip ever. There is potentially something very big that will get in the way, like right when I really want to go. You might be wondering where this idea came from in the first place. Well, it all started about 2 years ago when I went home to the USA. So it's been a while since I lived in North Carolina, but people still say this, that the weather here is freaking crazy and it changes on the fly. That said, I would say that there is still more sunny days here in North Carolina than there are in New Zealand. I decided to take one of those sunny days and head up to the Appalachian Mountains, where I hadn't been in years. Corey, can I borrow your car?
No, you can't borrow my car because I have to have the car seats around. However, you can borrow Rusty.
Ooh, what is Rusty? One of the surprising parts about being here is that I actually have to be careful about wildlife. So copperhead's like the biggest risk out when you're hiking?
No. Bears. Black widows.
Ooh.
And brown recluses. Brown recluses are disgusting because they actually rot your skin away.
While I was walking along, I started thinking about one of my sisters who had always had a dream to walk the Appalachian Trail, which starts on the top of the USA and goes all the way down to the bottom. She had given up the dream to walk the trail for her new partner, who I learned on this trip had been abusing her in some really horrible ways. I found myself contemplating the last 12 years in a very toxic relationship, and my partner falsely accusing me of cheating him publicly online. My ex-mother-in-law telling me that I shouldn't buy a pink t-shirt because only little girls wear pink. Waking up one morning to immediately find my ex-father-in-law screaming at me and not being able to understand why. I found myself thinking about my stepfather and all the sexually inappropriate comments he'd made to me and my siblings. My mother staying with him, even when my sister had accused him of assaulting her. Being beaten as a child and told that I was hated by my parents. But then I thought, this doesn't have to be my story anymore. I can change it all here and now. I can stand up for all of the women who have given up their dreams, been told they're unrealistic, been told they're living in a fairy tale world, and live out what should have happened. That's when I had an idea. I went to the nearest town, grabbed myself a beer, and started researching whether or not New Zealand had an equivalent to the Appalachian Trail. The Te Araroa Trail starts in Cape Reinga on the north of the North Island and goes all the way down to Bluff on the south of the South Island. The trail changes every single year due to access issues, but in 2024, the trail was 3,059 kilometers, or about 2,000 miles, almost the same exact distance of the Appalachian Trail on the east coast of the USA. Now, there are two main seasons when people start the trail: October-November timeframe or around January. The October one is people going north to south, and January is going south to north. And the main reason why there's those timings is because there's snow on the southern Alps of New Zealand, as well as there's lambing and calving on a lot of the farms that you cross through. So they ask that you not go any earlier or later in the season to make sure that you're not crossing that time of year. An estimated 2,000 to 3,000 people did the trail last year, taking about 4 to 6 months. So this is probably a really weird time to do this because I'm sick and in the bathtub. But I cannot get it out of my head recently to do the Te Araroa Trail. And I think I'm going to start researching how to do it. Walking across New Zealand seemed doable. I mean, I'd have a lot of preparation to do, but surely I could make this work. So I started with a bunch of long hikes. And because my name is Daniella, we're actually gonna go use the restroom one more time because I have to perpetually pee. It really sucks, like all the time. Anyways. Again, super happy that I have these boots. This is my kind of hike. I love me a good climb. Here she is. I'd really love to sit here for a really long time actually, and especially watch that sailboat swing around, but it's 2:26 right now, and I've potentially got a 3-hour hike back. What a beautiful view. I'm glad I made it up though. This is totally worth it. You know a hike is good when your feet get soaked, you slip on some rocks, might even have a black and blue mark on my shin, and yet you think, holy crap, this is incredible. This is so beautiful. I'm like looking around, it's just gorgeous. Once I convinced myself that I was physically capable of walking to Herradura, I started getting deep into logistics, starting with food. And the main reason why I did that was, well, because I was worried about it. I have IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, and that means I'm like food sensitive to everything. I'm intolerant to gluten, mushrooms, avocados, soft dairy, sometimes tomatoes, but basically garlic is a big one as well. I can't eat a lot of food, and a lot of the pre-made foods or food that I can find on the trail in a lot of these small towns, I won't be able to eat because it'll make me feel really, really sick. Unfortunately, all of these options have gluten in them. Maybe these are rice noodles. Could they be cooked fast is the real question. So these could work. Minute meals. Unfortunately, they do feel very heavy. Damn. So, powdered yogurt. Protein heavy, I guess. I can definitely imagine myself buying 2.5 grams or kilograms of banana chips. I feel like 10 kgs of rolled oats is the right way to go. I walked away with things for my breakfast, some oats and some gluten-free spirals. But unfortunately, not a lot of good ideas for making food on the trail. I've just learned that the amount of fat content in your food determines whether or not you can dehydrate this. So I'm wondering, after I enjoy this delicious meal, can I dehydrate this meal?
If I had known how easy dehydrating our own backpacking meals was, I would have started way earlier.
Unfortunately, it was looking like I was gonna have to prep all my meals, but that was a problem to be solved later. And it wasn't actually my worst medical issue. Guys, I have some good news. I just got home from the podiatrist, and there's some good news about that. So, this is my foot, and this is my other foot. The first problem happened in 2018. After finishing a long run, I was in extreme pain in my left foot. However, I put off dealing with the problem because at the time, I was saving all my money to be able to go sailing. When the ankle was turned the wrong way, basically that area or the tendons, the blood vessels, they were all being pinched and it was making like pain down there. So if it's twisted correctly, theoretically, it won't hurt anymore. So, man, not a cheap orthotic that I'm gonna have to get to correct this. And I have to get some special shoes as well, but they both apparently are gonna be high quality, gonna last for a couple of years and take care of the problem. I won't be in pain anymore and also fix some back pain. So I gotta do it. I think they gave me a 10.5. I couldn't believe they gave me a 10.5.
Did they?
Yeah, I'm only in, that's a 40, like a European 40, but I think they gave me 42s.
Yeah. Okay. So no, that's actually perfect fit in there. Maybe give that a go.
Oh my goodness, hope this works. Oh, that's weird.
So obviously it's gonna feel very weird for now. That's why there is a row and instructions that I am gonna talk through with that to you.
Okay. Easy as. I got my insoles, which feel really weird, not gonna lie. And they want me back in 6 weeks just to make sure everything's adjusted properly. It's weird because it's like turning the heel of my foot out, but the front of my foot, what do you call that? I don't know, is still turning in. So it's like twisting my foot almost, because the inside was twisting in too much. Anyway, let's hope it fixes things. It definitely feels really weird right now, so. She said to wear for just 1 hour per day, no more than that. Unfortunately, the next medical issue would not be such an easy fix. I got news. I just got a message from my friend, my old roommate, and she said that she got a letter in the mail that I've got another appointment for my jaw. which unfortunately means that I've got to go back to Auckland, and I'm kind of have mixed feelings because, like, I obviously want to get the procedure just over and done with, but probably what's going to happen is they're going to put braces on me, end up having surgery, and it could postpone my walk for, I have no idea how long. I don't even know when any of this is going to happen. It's supposed to be a year process, and it's been 2 years process already, so. I have what's called a malocclusion, which means my back teeth do not connect, which makes it really hard to chew. Over time, it can be really dangerous because my gums are starting to cover my teeth, which means the risk of infection is incredibly high. I urgently need a very invasive surgery to fix the issue. Well, that's appointment number 1 done, and I'm not gonna lie that I'm feeling really frustrated and overwhelmed. The guy that I talked to, he was a student surgeon, whatever. It's kind of funny. He was like, "Do you have any preferences? Like, do you like your smile? Is there anything you want?" I was like, "What? What kind of question is that?" He's like, "Well, sometimes people think they have like too much gum showing or not enough gum showing, or they want their smile to be wider, or all sorts of like random things, and you can choose like what you want your face to look like, or you can choose how pointy you want your jaw, or how tall you want your face, and all those other things." And I was like, I just want to look exactly like I look like, but like maybe straighter teeth and less gaps in the back, you know? I'll show you guys because it is kind of an interesting thing. After worrying for over 2 years about whether or not this surgery would overlap with the Te Araroa season, I went back for one last appointment where I found out that I was booted off the list because the government can no longer afford to cover anything that was not a life-threatening emergency. I was told that my situation was considered medically severe, so there was a high likelihood that I would be put back on the list. But I decided that I wasn't going to let it hold me up any longer. It was time to walk across New Zealand. The biggest question left for me was, how was I going to afford it? As many of you know, I haven't worked in 4 years. Not because I'm lazy, and it's not true, I haven't technically not worked. I just haven't worked in a job that's really, truly earning money. But basically, for the last 4 years of my life, I have been either sailing full-time or I have been doing yacht deliveries as kind of like a crew job, a little bit of nannying on the side, but I haven't really worked a corporate job in 4 years. So if I'm going to be able to afford this, I actually need to be able to go back to work because this is a lot of money. This is a big investment, and I can't do it by just doing like little side gigs. That's just not going to fly. Not looking forward to this. Not looking forward to this at all. There are 3 main costs along the Te Araroa Trail. The first one, of course, is gear. Lightweight gear is not cheap, and the problem with buying it used and a lot cheaper is that you're walking so far, the chances of your gear breaking and then you end up having to buy something more expensive on the trail is actually pretty high. The second cost is going to be your accommodation. The Te Araroa Trail is a lot more expensive than other relative trails in like the US, for example, because you have to pay for your accommodation almost every single night in huts or sleeping at campgrounds. The third big cost is food. When you're walking 20 to 40 kilometers per day, the last thing you want is a lot of heavy food in your backpack, so you end up paying for dried food. And freeze-dried food is not cheap. And in my case, I actually have to pay rent while I'm gone because I'm in a relationship and it wouldn't really be fair to just bow out of my half of the rent while I'm gone. In total, I'm estimating the cost for me to walk the trail is $22,000. Well, I'm back from my interview and I think it went pretty well. The lady wants me to send over some references. And she said she was happy, so that's good. That's a good sign. Yeah, it's a nice center. Like it's a clean facility. Everyone was really friendly, like really friendly. It was really cool. I'm a little nervous about it, if I'm completely honest, but I need to work. So anyway, so I am very exhausted from a very long week. I worked late pretty much every single day this week, but even though I'm freaking exhausted right now, I'm not complaining because, so I work in sales, never worked sales my entire life, but turns out I'm pretty good at it, and I made $500 more this month, April, than I did last month, which is March, and March I made more money than February, and February I made more money than January, and I'm starting this like cascade of building clientele, And even though technically I've only got $1,500 of the $16,000 that I've budgeted I need, brain fart, sorry. I still feel like I can get there. Like, if my sales keep going up like this, I'll be able to do it. Just trying to make sure I don't burn out in the process. In all honesty, it took me about 6 months to be able to catch up on all the payments I had been putting off. But after about 6 months, it was finally time to start buying gear. Which is a little intimidating because there's just like so many things to consider, like the fabric type, the weight of the fabric, the durability of the fabric, like how long it will last overall. There's a lot to consider. So right now I'm doing a lot of research, and what I've decided is I'm actually going to, like, I need more work to do. I'm going to create a website and I'm going to put all this information on there. The reason why is that so far what I've seen for websites about Te Aroha, like, there's just too many options. So they'll have like the top 10 backpacks or something like that, or it's like all of the gear information on one page rather than that, like having a backpack page. And I've got experience making like very easy to comprehend websites, things that are like very simple. I did project management for a living and I learned how to make things efficient, which might not be coming through right now in this video, but that's okay. So yeah, apparently I need more work to do. I'm also hoping that it will potentially be an income stream through affiliate links, and I'm gonna be genuine about it. So don't like think I'm gonna like throw in links that don't matter to me. Like, I'm gonna be genuine, but I figure like if there's anything I can do to make this happen, that this is one more thing on top of the list, you know? Because I was feeling so money tight, I over-researched everything. And when I was thrilled when I finally found the perfect tent, barely used on Trade Me. Guys, I got the tent! I got it! Hold on, I don't know if you can see it. The Mid-X Pro. I don't think we're on this road. I'm just too excited to even like be able to navigate things. Thank God I have a partner who helps me not get lost. I got it! Yay! Alright guys, I am both very, very excited, and I made a really, really dumb mistake. So I got the tent, and we were commenting on the fact that it is 2 pieces, and it really should only be 1 piece based on the research I did. It's supposed to be a single wall tent, and it definitely is 2 pieces. So then I looked at the cover here and I was like, oh crap. I'm so embarrassed. This is so dumb. It's the X Mid 2, not the X Mid 2 Pro, which means it's a 2-piece and it weighs 300 grams more. It's still a really good tent. It still is the least weight. It's like 400 grams cheaper than the tent I was going to get, so it's still going to save me a lot of weight. And it's 2-piece, which means there's going to be a little bit less condensation, so it's not actually a horrible mistake, but I'm feeling really, really dumb right now. This was an unfriendly wake-up call. Alright, Dan Durston, I would like to point out that I had an AP in calculus. I took AP in calculus, and I actually graded out of math when I was in high school, so I never had to take math in college. Turns out geometry is hard. It reminded me that A, I needed to slow down and just enjoy the process, but also pay attention to the detail, but also how quickly things could go wrong on this trail. Okay, so it looks like I have quite a few things that I need to purchase, like a first aid kit. I need to get some waterproof case for my matches and my lighter, somewhere to put my batteries. I need a rain jacket that's really, really, really storm-worthy, waterproof pants. Obviously, I don't have any of my clothes in here or anything like that. Actually, I've got quite a few things that I need. I need a GPS, I need a compass, I need a topographic map. So I've got to make a list, but at least now I know what I do have, which is very little. While it still felt like I had a lot of planning to do, I at least had everything that I would need for my very first backpacking trip. And I knew I needed to do the first one soon, because otherwise I was going to miss all of summer. I just booked my first hike. Headed to Cape Brett. Ooh, it's bright suddenly. It's supposed to be this 16-kilometer hike one way. Sorry, I'm just putting my wallet away. Yeah, 16 kilometers. Oh, see if I can get my camera to stay. That'll be my first solo hike. I'm really, really stoked. I'll tell you the date, but then I might get a stalker or something. And I think I'm feeling a little wary because my favorite YouTuber is getting harassed right now. So I'm so excited though. A little nervous. I don't know if I'm ready for this. I feel bad. My boyfriend wanted to come, but they didn't have enough spots. Everything is like booked out except for like one bed here, one bed there. And I kind of want to do it alone anyways, so he'll do another one with me instead, but not that one, which is the long one. So now that I had my first backpacking trip planned, I needed to sleep in my tent at least once just to make sure everything was okay. But I started to feel a panic set in as the reality hit me. I feel sad and a little panic that I'm not going to be able to make this work. And I'm trying to like sit down and think about what I actually really want. And the reality is I just like want to be outside all the time. Like I just want to be outside all the time and in nature, hiking, walking, experiencing sunrises, experiencing sunsets, and also like an opportunity to like long-term process some stuff. Like I've mentioned, like you guys know, a lot of you know that like I went through something pretty horrible in 2021 that shook me up and like really just knocked my feet off the ground, and also kind of showed me that I don't know, just I've not always had a great life. Like I've been lucky compared to my siblings, but like I had a pretty messed up childhood, and I wanted this time to process all that, you know? And now it feels like I'm not gonna be able to do any of this, and I'm sad about that. But then I'm like, well, I can go outside anytime. I don't need this to work. Like I can be happy, and this doesn't have to be like the end all be all, you know, by doing this one thing. But then I want to do it. I don't want to sit in an office and be that stupid sucker that is working every single day and going into office. And to be fair, I love my coworkers. They're wonderful. I actually really, really like all my coworkers. They're beautiful people. But I hate going to an office. I hate working for someone else. I want to work for myself. I want to do my thing. I've got a passion, you know? You guys get it. I'm scared. I'm scared I'm not going to be able to make this work. I get paralyzed by my fear and I can't move forward, and it's hard to make things happen. Like just simple things like editing my website just get so paralyzed, and I have these thoughts racing my mind, like what if I can't get people in my course? What if I can't get a regular income? What if I can't save enough money? Like what if I'm wasting my money? And then I'm like, when I really sit down and think about it, when I really stop and like face my fear, I'm like, worst case scenario, you're gonna have a tent, you're gonna go camping. But then I'm like, then I could be a sucker in an office every single weekend, living for the weekends. But then I'm also like, I've seen people that go out and thrive. They don't have like a big business or anything trying to build. They just go to work, they do their work, and then they go thrive on the weekends. And that actually sounds really awesome too. So I'm still working through this, as you can tell. That is all. I'm gonna end every single video with, that is all. I don't know where that came from. I just think it's great. Anyways, thank you for watching this. You're awesome. Hello guys, alright, we are going camping in my brand new tent. Well, that's not brand new to me tent that I'm going to be using when I hike Te Araroa across New Zealand 30,000 kilometers.